I always look at my setting as an antagonist, always working behind the scenes against my protagonist. And with that mindset, thinking that that setting is a character, a big roaring beast, what can that setting do to smack my protagonist in the face every time they try to accomplish something?
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to a Writer's Day podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Writer's Day podcast. My name is Ruth Douthit and I'm an award-winning best-selling author of books in various genres. I do kids' books, dragon stories for middle school and YA readers, contemporary stories for women that I call women's adventure fiction, and of course, romantic suspense. So welcome. Head over to my website to learn more about me and my book projects and to sign up for my newsletter so you can be aware of what's coming next down the road, like the release of The Streets of Florence, Book 3 in my Love and Romance in Italy series. We'll be saying goodbye to Italy and then maybe next year saying hello to Spain. Not sure yet. But head over to my website so you can find out more about me, my books, and my upcoming projects. And if you liked today's episode, please consider subscribing at YouTube, follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and leave a review. I'd love to know what you think of today's episode. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Okay, let's get started. DiAnn Mills, the best-selling author of so many books about romantic suspense and the winner of the Christie Awards and the Golden Scroll Awards. Wow, she is amazing. She's here today to talk to us about her next book, Canyon of Deceit. That's right. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, kick back and relax as we listen to DiAnn Mills talk about her new book. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to have DiAnn Mills with us here again today. Welcome, DiAnn.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. This will be so fun.
Of course. Yes, this is, I think, our third interview, and we're going to be talking about your next release. But first, tell us what you've been up to over the summer.
Over the summer, well, I live in Houston, the home of heat, humidity, Harleys, horses, and an occasional hurricane. But I love it because I like the heat, and I am one of those few people who like the humidity. So I like getting outside. It's been a summer of transition. Our oldest granddaughter graduated from high school and is now at Baylor. And just spending time with family and friends and getting outside and just enjoying the beautiful summer. And this summer hasn't been as hot as what we've had in the past. So, and we've had lots of rain. So I hope that doesn't smack us as we head into the build up for hurricanes. But it makes for good stories, so.
Wonderful. It's so green there. It's so pretty. So yeah, I can see why you love it. I have family who live in Texas and just outside of Houston. I love to visit. But yeah, the humidity is tough for this Arizona gal because we are in dry country here. So okay, let's talk about your next release because this sounds absolutely fascinating. Canyon of Deceit. And I know you're well known for your research and how you go the extra mile to research your books. So tell us about Canyon of Deceit and your inspiration for this story.
My inspiration for this story comes from a passion for children. They are our treasure. There is no treasure that can compete with a child. And for that, they need to be protected. They need to be loved. They need to be taken care of. And that was my underlying theme. So, who could I get to help me with a book about a child? What if? And I always start with a what if. I'm a seat of the pants writer, and I'm sure it's a nightmare for my editor. But anyway, I'm a seat of the pants writer, so I always start with what if. So I thought, what if an 8-year-old Russian little girl was kidnapped by the Russian mob
Mm.
because her father refused to go along with some of their plans. Let me put it that way.
Mhm.
So that's what happened. So I'm thinking, okay, um, who do I get? I need a wilderness survival expert. So I wanted it to be a woman, of course. And then she needed a sidekick, someone who could balance out the team, someone who possibly knew negotiation tactics, and that became my Texas Ranger.
Mm.
So then I have to back up a little bit. I can come up with these ideas, but then I have to research them.
Mhm.
So I love Masterclass. Are you familiar with that?
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, soup to nuts, everything's there. So I took a course on Masterclass from Jesse Cripps, and it was all on wilderness survival. And I was enthralled. I thought, this is the best ever. I mean, who wants to make it off the grid and cook what you can find in the high desert, all those kinds of things. But that's what I chose. And then I selected my Texas Ranger, gave him a little backstory with my heroine, tossed them together, and oh, this was going to be fun. But I had to go to the Guadalupe Mountains and walk and hike the same area they would be. And that's how I am about research. I got this wild child streak at my age, and I still have it. So my husband and I flew into New Mexico because the part of the West Texas Guadalupe Mountains that I wanted to use, you can't get there unless you go into New Mexico. So we went to New Mexico and then drove into the Guadalupe Mountains. I've never seen anything so incredibly beautiful, just still and quiet, wildlife. It's free range, so there may be cattle and horses and whatever else
Mm.
back and forth on the road. You don't want to get sick. You don't want your car to have a problem because you're just kind of stuck out there. So we drove through the area, stopped at park ranger sites and talked to the rangers about the area. But particularly, I was interested in a very remote area called Dog Canyon. And I learned that the uh, the park rangers there are volunteers because who wants to go there in the middle of nowhere and um, have little communication? And anyway, so
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
went there. And it was beautiful. It was wonderful. Some of the pictures I put on my Pinterest board for Canyon of Deceit. And it just made knowing the area that much more credible. The rocks, the desolation, snakes, all those kinds of things. And it really did help me have an appreciation and a value and a healthy fear of where we were at. So, what happens is my little girl is kidnapped and she's taken to a spot in Dog Canyon. and my hero and my heroine have to hike the area to get to where she is. And it it is fun and exciting and thrilling because I'm remembering some of the sights, and I've read lots of documentaries and recorded things from the park rangers, and then learning about the different backgrounds, not only of my hero and my heroine, but the Russian professor
Mm.
whose daughter has been kidnapped. And he learns his wife has been murdered. I mean, he has lost it all. To what lengths or depths or heights would he go to ensure his daughter is returned? So I have a mix of personalities and an area of Texas that just soars with eagles and excitement. And that's where I set my story.
Mm.
It is, I always get excited about what I write because if I don't get excited, I can't expect you to. But I love mixing different personalities, motivation, backstory, uh, doing my best to create characters that come alive. And yet, in the midst of that, I've got to have at least one character who solves their problems and walks through life from a Christian worldview.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my gal, my Therese. She is the wilderness survival expert, and she is my Christian. And so, not only because of her backstory does her heart go out to this missing little girl, she feels it's her purpose, her quest, her God given mission to do all she can to help others. So, that is an interesting part of it all. And my bad guys are just simply bad guys. That's all I can say. But, I think it's very important that a writer always gives the antagonist, and in this case, a villain, at least one quality that makes them human.
Mm-hmm.
Something about them that, oh, wow, I don't like this guy, but I'm glad that he feels this way or he does this particular thing. And that's what I did with my antagonist. And I really enjoyed it, Ruth. I really enjoyed
Mm.
putting the hero and the heroine through um, danger, not only with nature, but with those who wanted them dead simply because of what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it it showed me that people will go to extremes to get what they want, to solve their problem, to reach their goal, whether they are the good people or they are the ones who are acting and reacting out of greed and selfishness. That is the life we live today. I just wanted to show it in a different setting. So
Mm.
it was, I learned how to take, oh yeah, I saw all these videos on, okay, your food's gone, your water's gone, how are you going to survive?
Oh
And
my.
yes, the plants that could actually give you lots of protein and carbohydrates. Of course, you have to cook it underground, make your own fire, and you have to wait 24 hours until it's ready. But it was just all part of it. And anyway, I
But
just,
that's But that's interesting though, because it just shows you the danger, the heightened danger of it all. And when you're out in the wilderness, yes, you have everything trying to kill you. I mean, I have a friend who hiked through the Soro National Park in Tucson, Arizona, and with the guide, and the guide was saying, watch out for this cactus over here because it could kill you, and watch out for this over here because it's poisonous and it can kill you. And then there's spiders out here that can, and snakes that could kill you. And she said, Ruth, it just seems like everything out there is out to kill you. I said, yeah, pretty much. It's just so wild. And I love that heighten the word, emphasize the word survival, wilderness survival skills.
Yeah,
And I think that matches beautifully with your story. And I love that. I love how you match this setting and the tension and the danger of just the setting with the premise of your story and your characters. That's beautiful. You're so good at that. And I always learn so much from your stories. When I read Lethal Standoff, I got that tension as well. And so now, and I'm just fascinated that you took that master's class about it as well. Learning so much about how prepared you need to be out there in the wilderness. And then you have these two people who met, in these training courses, searching for this young girl. And that to me, that's a bad guy, someone who kidnaps a child. That is, evil beyond evil. So my question for you is, how much research did you do into the Russian organized crime, and why did you choose that instead of maybe like the Mexican cartels or something like that? What made you want to go to Eastern Europe?
I think so much has been done about the cartels and in Mexico, South America. I wanted something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are fabulous Russian people who are here in the United States, good, solid people. But I also know that uh, the Russian gangs are here too. And so I wanted to weave those together. A good man with, oh no, this represents my home country, but
Mm-hmm.
this is not the way I want to live. And weaving those together, giving readers something a little bit different in the Houston area. Houston is the most diverse city in the United States.
Wow.
So we have everything, absolutely everything. And I just wanted to go deeper. So I had to do a lot of research, interview those who know more about um, organized crime than what I ever want to know. And, and they helped me fill in the blanks. Another class I took on uh, a master class, and I had used it for the previous book too, was negotiation skills. And I have
Mm-hmm.
continued that study. Uh, Chris Voss was the originator of the FBI's building up that division of negotiation. And since then, he has retired and he has a business, I guess you would call it a business, called the Black Swan. And it's all about negotiation, whether you are doing it for law enforcement purposes or your business negotiation, all types of negotiation, men and women. And I continue to get that newsletter because I find that it makes my stories richer if I can give my characters, even the bad guys, a little bit of tactics of how to manipulate people through the art of communicating. And I've enjoyed that too. And like I say, every week I look forward to that newsletter from the Black Swan. What can I learn next? What can I learn next? And it has been a big help. And it's a help personally too, because we're all people and we all have to communicate and we all get involved with, I don't agree with what you said, so how can we talk through this and still come out as friends or family or whatever. And I used that in Canyon of Deceit quite a bit, and I enjoyed that very much,
Mm.
very much.
Well, we appreciate how in-depth your research is and what you're willing to go through to learn more about things to put in your stories. And it shows because your stories have such depth. And one thing I've learned from talking with you and reading your books is the connections that you make between the characters, the villain, and the setting. It's so important. And I want listeners who are wanting to be writers to understand that you can't just choose the desert setting because you like the desert, right? Or you live in the desert. No, there has to be that connection. And you're so good at that, DiAnn,
Oh,
because you have this incredibly tense situation searching for a missing little girl. There might be the Russian organized crime involved, an assassination attempt, my goodness. And then you have these two people who met during training of wilderness survival, skills training. And so it all comes together beautifully. It all makes sense now. As I was listening to you describe it, I thought, oh, it all makes sense now. So, listeners, if you're wanting to write a story, a suspense especially, you have to be able to answer the why. Why did you set it? The story where you set it. And why is this villain after this person or doing these horrible things? So you did a great job, DiAnn, of explaining that to us and showing us how important it is.
I always look as at my setting as an antagonist,
Mm-hmm.
always working behind the scenes against my protagonist. And with that mindset, thinking that that setting is a character, a big roaring beast, what can that setting do to smack my protagonist in the face every time they try to accomplish something? And that can happen for the writers out there. That can happen in a business setting, in team meetings. You can set up an antagonistic setting anywhere possible,
Mm-hmm.
and it works well with your story because it's that unexpected. It is forcing that character to change and grow in an area they didn't think they'd have to deal with.
Good point. Elizabeth Goddard's good at that too. She uses Alaska. So here you are in the desert. She uses
Yes,
Alaska. But
yes,
you're so right. Use it. Use the setting as a way to grow your characters to challenge them, but also it can come alongside them and help them too.
mm-hmm.
In one of my stories, I had the desert have a flash flood that, yeah, prevented my protagonist from getting where she needed to go, but it also prevented the villains from getting to her. So you can use it for your protagonist and against them as
Yes.
well. So it's fun. I think that's the fun part of writing, to
Oh,
control that.
it is. Yes, we can control it. We can't control our own world, but we can control what we're writing. I've been, I guess I can say this. I'm working on a writing the suspense novel, um, a how-to book, and what's important, the tension, the high stakes, what to do with the characters, um, and because I've had a lot of writers say to me, well, I've got this idea, but I don't know what to do with it. And I don't want it to sound like every other book out there. I want it to be a suspense. I want it to be a thriller. So I'm working on that this summer. I didn't mention that before, but that is one of my projects. Uh, I enjoy every aspect of writing a suspense novel. The odds why the two won't get together, the odds of why the antagonist is going to overcome the protagonist, the dialogue, the personality differences, research, editing. I don't mind the editing because it makes what I thought was my best so much better.
Mm.
And I love that part too. I love the marketing and promotion. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Oh, I'll tell you this. Do we have time?
Mhm.
Okay. My heroine grew up in East Texas. No, she didn't. She grew up in the San Antonio area in the hill
Oh,
country.
okay.
Anyway, there's a big difference. And parents lived off the grid. And so that's where she developed her enthusiasm and her passion for that type of lifestyle. But when she was 12 years old, she had a little sister and who was 8. And she wrote a song for her, and it's in the prologue. And at
Oh,
the end of the story, she writes a song for the hero. So there's one in the beginning and one in the end. I discovered through an AI app called Suno, Suno, that you can select the type of music that you want, the type of voice that you want, and it will put the words to music.
hmm.
So her Theresa's guitar playing and how she felt about her little sister, and then how she felt about Blaine at the end was just something that added just a little bit more for my readers. And it's on my website page of Canyon of Deceit, not only with the book trailer, but the songs. And it was just something different that I could do to enhance the experience for my readers.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love. Well, Canyon of Deceit releases September 9th. And so you can head over to Amazon and pre-order it right now, like I'm going to do. I can hardly wait. I was listening to Lethal Standoff on my walks, and so I can hardly wait to listen to Canyon of Deceit. Wonderful, wonderful stories.
Thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
this is so exciting. And so folks can head over to your website and sign up for your newsletter?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, please do. Please do. There'll be contests that will be coming out for readers about the Canyon of Deceit. And on my website, there's also a downloadable book club kit for anyone who likes to host a book club. I've got games, I've got puzzles. I just love doing that kind of thing. And it's all about the reader.
Sure. And it's so fun. I've had DiAnn speak at my book club, so do it because she's a delight and you'll just love her. Well, DiAnn, this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me again to talk about Canyon of Deceit, and I wish you the best of luck with the release. It's going to be a big hit, and I look forward to our next conversation.
I am excited, and thank you so much. God bless. This has been so fun.
Wow. Wasn't that amazing to listen to DiAnn Mills, the best-selling author of romantic suspense, talk about her process, how she researches, where she gets her inspiration for her amazing stories. I just can't tell you enough about how fantastic she is. So be sure you head over to Amazon and pre-order Canyon of Deceit right now. It's going to be fantastic. And I hope that you've been encouraged by DiAnn and how she goes the extra mile to make those connections between her villain and her protagonist, and the setting of her stories and how she uses the setting as an antagonist. It's really incredible. Be encouraged, friend, to keep going on your writing journey. Because as I always say, someone out there needs to read your story of hope, whether it's suspense or romance or historical. Always put those messages of hope in your story for your readers to take away. And until next time, thanks for listening. God bless.